Life's greatest truths often require simplicity to grasp fully, and the Buddha, one of history's most profound spiritual teachers, mastered this art through poetry. Among his many teachings, his verses, known as gathas, stand out as gems that illuminate life's complexities with clarity and wisdom. These poetic expressions are preserved in Buddhist texts like the Dhammapada and serve as a bridge between the ordinary and the profound. In this article, we delve into one of the Buddha's most beautiful poems, a verse that continues to inspire and guide millions. The core message of this poem revolves around mindfulness, impermanence, and living fully in the present moment. While poetic in form, the teachings are deeply practical, addressing universal human struggles like regret, worry, and the relentless march of time. Let us journey through the Buddha's profound verse, exploring not just its words, but its practical wisdom for modern life. The Buddha's poem begins with an insightful instruction. Let not a person revive the past, or on the future build his hopes. For the past has been left behind, and the future has not been reached. Here, the Buddha emphasizes the fleeting nature of time. The past, though memorable, is no longer tangible, while the future is uncertain and beyond reach. Clinging to either creates unnecessary suffering. Instead, the Buddha invites us to focus on the presently arising state. This teaching forms the essence of mindfulness, sati. Mindfulness, in its truest sense, is about seeing life as it unfolds, moment by moment, without judgment or attachment. Consider this. When we replay past mistakes in our minds, we often feel regret or sadness. Similarly, when we obsess over future outcomes, we breed anxiety. But what are these feelings if not mental constructs? As the Buddha teaches, our thoughts about the past and future occur now. Recognizing this can liberate us from their grip, redirecting our energy to the only reality we truly inhabit, the present. Why mindfulness is revolutionary. The modern world often reduces mindfulness to a tool for stress relief or emotional regulation. While these benefits are undeniable, the Buddha envisioned mindfulness as something far greater, a practice to understand the impermanence, anicca, of all things. When we observe the present moment with insight, we see that everything, thoughts, emotions, sensations, is in constant flux. This impermanence is not a cause for despair, but a reminder of life's dynamic nature. It urges us to embrace change, let go of attachments, and live with a sense of freedom. For example, imagine a heated argument with a loved one. Anger flares, and hurtful words are exchanged. But if we pause, breathe, and observe our feelings mindfully, something remarkable happens. Instead of fueling the fire, we notice the anger arising, peaking, and eventually subsiding. By seeing emotions as temporary, we reduce their power over us. Mindfulness teaches us to be present not just in moments of joy, but also in discomfort. It's about facing life with an open heart and clear mind, knowing that this too shall pass. The nature of suffering. The Buddha's poem also touches on the root of suffering, our resistance to change. He says, once you realize something is subject to change, you see that clinging to it leads to suffering. This insight forms the basis of Buddhist philosophy. Everything in life, relationships, possessions, even our identities, is transient. Suffering arises when we try to hold onto what inevitably changes. For instance, consider the grief of losing a loved one. While the pain is natural, it often deepens because we resist accepting their absence. The Buddha's teachings don't diminish the importance of relationships, but help us approach them with wisdom, cherishing each moment without clinging. Similarly, our attachments to success, youth, or health can become sources of pain when circumstances shift. By recognizing the impermanent nature of these aspects, we learn to appreciate them while they last and let go when they fade. Embracing mortality. The poem's wisdom extends to the ultimate change, death. The Buddha reminds us, today, effort must be made. Tomorrow, death may come. Who knows? No bargain with mortality exists. These lines are not meant to instill fear, but to inspire urgency. Knowing that life is finite compels us to live purposefully. It's a call to focus on what truly matters: kindness, growth, and spiritual practice, rather than trivial pursuits. When we accept mortality, we begin to see life's preciousness. Each moment becomes an opportunity to grow, connect, and contribute. Living mindfully, practical steps. To practice mindfulness as the Buddha intended, consider these steps. 1. Start with awareness. Begin each day with a mindful breath, anchoring yourself in the present. 2. Observe without judgment. Whether it's a thought, emotion, or sensation, notice it without labeling it as good or bad. 3. Pause before reacting. In moments of anger or stress, pause and observe your feelings. This simple act can prevent impulsive reactions. 4. Reflect on impermanence. Remind yourself that all experiences, whether pleasant or painful, are temporary. As we've explored the Buddhist teachings on mindfulness and impermanence, it's clear how transformative they can be. In the next section, we will dive deeper into practical examples, uncovering how these insights can reshape our approach to life's challenges. In the first half of this discussion, we explored the profound message of impermanence encapsulated in the Buddha's verses and its practical implications on mindfulness. Building on this foundation, let us now delve deeper into how impermanence shapes our understanding of suffering and the self. The interconnection between change and suffering. To comprehend suffering, we must first recognize its root cause: resistance to change. In life, we cling to what we desire and push away what we fear, creating a cycle of attachment and aversion. This resistance stems from our inability to accept the impermanent nature of all things. For example, in relationships, we may hold onto a relationship, hoping it will remain unchanged, even as people grow and circumstances evolve. This clinging often leads to heartbreak when the inevitable changes occur. In material possessions, consider the fleeting joy of acquiring a new car or home. Over time, that initial excitement fades, and we seek newer possessions to fill the void. Health and aging. Many struggle with the natural process of aging, resorting to extreme measures to preserve youth, only to confront the reality that physical change is inevitable. By understanding impermanence as a fundamental truth, we can begin to release these attachments and reduce the suffering they cause. Not self, the liberation from ego. The Buddha's teaching on anatta, or not self, complements the understanding of impermanence. When we examine our thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations, we often identify with them as me or mine. However, the Buddha invites us to observe that these elements are constantly changing and cannot be tied to a permanent self. Imagine standing by a river. The water flowing in front of you is never the same from one moment to the next. Similarly, the self we perceive is like that river, ever-changing, never fixed. When we let go of the illusion of self, we free ourselves from the constraints of ego-driven desires and fears. For instance, consider how pride or anger arises when someone criticizes us. This reaction stems from the belief in a solid me that needs defending. When we understand there is no fixed self to defend, such emotions lose their power over us. Practical steps to embrace impermanence and not self. 1. Mindful observation. Take moments throughout the day to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Notice how they arise and pass away, much like clouds drifting across the sky. 2. Meditation on change. Reflect on the transient nature of experiences. For example, meditate on the breath, observing its beginning, middle, and end. 3. Letting go practices. Actively practice releasing attachment to outcomes. This can be as simple as savoring a meal without the need for it to be perfect, or as profound as accepting the end of a cherished relationship. 4. Gratitude for the present. Cultivate appreciation for the present moment, recognizing it as a unique and fleeting experience. Living an excellent life. A call to action. As the Buddha's poem reminds us, life is fleeting, and each moment offers an opportunity to practice mindfulness and awaken to the true nature of existence. By embracing impermanence, relinquishing the illusion of self, and living with mindful awareness, we can lead a life of profound peace and fulfillment. Let us not wait for tomorrow, for death may come unannounced. Instead, let us make every effort today to live with intention, gratitude, and wisdom. If you found this discussion insightful, Consider subscribing to our channel for more content that connects ancient Buddhist teachings with the challenges of modern life. Together, we can cultivate a community of mindfulness, compassion, and inner peace. As we conclude, remember that the practice of mindfulness is not about achieving perfection, but about cultivating a deeper awareness of the present moment. Each step, no matter how small, brings us closer to understanding the impermanence of life and the boundless potential for peace within us. May these teachings inspire you to embark on a journey of self-discovery and transformation. And may you live each moment as an excellent night, as the Buddha so beautifully envisioned.